Okay. Today, Metal Levels has gotten onto a video call with the team 3303, and we're just gonna discuss how they're going to approach this year's game and different ways they're going to try to accomplish it.
Okay, Fisher,
Yes.
the craziest thing that we've seen from you, and we've known you from last year and the years before,
Yeah.
just because you're in the same league as us. How are you going to go about uh, having this year just by yourself? Like that's crazy to us because we've always had 5 or 6 people on our team, and even then, it's kind of hard to get everything done and accomplished. And we're just wondering how you were going to go about that this year.
So at the end of last year, we at the end of the last league meet, the league tournament. It was just mostly me, and like everyone was missed out, and we did pretty good at that meet. And so I realized that I could actually probably do this as a solo, and it would just increase reliability because all the ideas were with me and all that stuff.
Awesome. Um, Isaac, do you have any?
So now that we know what the game is, I would like to know what's your game plan? Like, what's the design process looking like?
All right, so let me screen share my notes. So I just write down real quick. So there's been a lot of debate about using some sort of indexer to index the ball colors because of the motif or the classifier. And a lot of people are debating if it's even needed or not needed. And it's the same thing with the level 3 park or the double park, however you want to say that. It's what, extra 15 points for doing that? I'm not. I feel like that shouldn't be a main priority. I feel like you should be doing that like last if you have room for it. And so with the indexer, we're probably not going to do this, and we're just going to go with some sort of camera vision and a color detection system. And this field is very open, so this is going to be a very defense heavy game. So we're going to see a lot of robot action. Like you just you gotta have a strong robot, and just make sure that all your systems are protected.
All right.
Lorraine?
Y'all got anything else?
I do.
Right?
Okay. So, since you're a solo, how much of your time is spent building, coding, and just doing other things for the robot in the season?
Basically, any free time I have is going towards the robot. So, yeah, I've just been learning over the summer. I learned camera vision after Worlds. Got a great, that was a pretty good performance from Dell's sister team at Worlds.
Mm-hmm.
And I just saw like how like robots there are built, and so I started learning CAD, like pocketing. I recently got a CNC machine, stuff like that.
I have a question about y'all's intake. First of all, the indexer, we also have had that debate very much as we're going throughout the building process, and we actually ended up saying no to it because we're just thinking of how fast we're gonna have to pick up the balls. We just gotta know which colors to pick up at the right time. Also, FTC hasn't had a game where you have to pick up something and launch it since the year 2020, which seems like forever ago. So, can you explain more on your intake because of how complicated it's going to be this year for teams that haven't even seen that play out?
Yes, hold on, I have a video of what I might do. Okay, so this is from a vendor called ThriftyBot, and these wheels are just mini Mechanim wheels, and these are Gecko wheels, I'm pretty sure, and they're able to cycle them pretty quick.
That is pretty quick.
And then these are mostly meant for FRC, but I think they will work pretty good for FTC. I haven't seen anyone really talk about these wheels, so I think they're going to be pretty good because they funnel straight to the middle. the rollers.
Another question I have for you is, we as a team, and I think you know this just because you've been in our league, know how challenging it is to have something go wrong and still have to get through the rest of the day. Say it goes wrong in the first match of a meet.
Yeah.
We've kind of developed a system to handle that with being just like having togetherness in our team. We just want to know how you want to go about doing that, just handling adversity in the meets, especially being solo.
Yeah. Okay. So, most of our robot broke a lot during our last meet, like the qualifier, the league championship, and most of the breaks are from servos. So we're gonna try to stay away from servos. I think we're only use 1 or 2 servos on our entire robot, and just go all motor based because they just break way too often.
I agree with you on that. We switched to different servos a while ago because they just kept on snapping.
So Fisher, I have a
Yes.
question. What's your game plan this year? Are you going more for precision or are you going more for speed?
So mostly what we're gonna be doing is our shooter should be able to shoot from the far side, that little small triangle, and we're just gonna start intaking as fast as possible, not caring about the motifs until the very end. And then we're just gonna empty out the classifier at the last second and then put the motifs in correctly with our color detection.
So speed in the beginning to get the points of precision at the end.
Yes, to get the ranking points. Because to get the ranking point for league meets or the league championships is 18, so you can get all of that just from teleop. You don't have to worry about doing it in auto.
Interesting. So what testing's gone into your whole, or you haven't started testing yet?
We've done some testing. I've been just looking around the resources that other people are putting out there and kind of inferencing. Like, I think we're gonna do like a 5mm compression on the ball to increase like the shooting and reduce backspin, and just make sure that stuff is good.
You mentioned looking at how just going on YouTube and searching throughout how other teams are going about this. With FTC putting so much emphasis on the outreach of this year's game and how awards are almost just as important this year about how you play the game. How are you going about that outreach, taking it to the next level, because there's so much emphasis put on it this year?
Well, I've been doing some mentoring. Like during the summer, I mentored an elementary robotics like summer camp, and I also mentored the elementary robotics team, and just doing stuff like that.
Okay.
So, are you planning on having something, either a mock build or having even the final product ready by the scrimmage date, which I believe is in October? Or are you going to wait more to see what people are doing and wait till the first meet?
We're probably going to have the finished robot. We're going to cut it close. We're probably going to have the finished robot by scrimmage. And then if we see something crazy, revolutionary meta be introduced, we might pivot. But last year, we changed our robot 3 times, and that reduced, like, our second robot was really, like, consistent, and then we changed it just for the lag, the league championship, and that didn't really work out so well. So I think we're just going to stay with the same robot and just improve on it.
Okay. I don't know if you can tell, but we lost 2 of our members from last year just due to circumstance. And our programmer Abby's not here. That's the other girl on our team. Of course, I'm the builder. Isaac's the wire management, do everything guy. And we have a new member, Lorraine. And a big part of the game this year especially is the interview. And Lorraine has never really had that interview experience, and it can be very intimidating if you go in there for the first time. How are you going to go about doing that interview solo? I find it admirable that you're going to do that solo, because I know when I went in there, even with the team, it can be nerve-wracking.
Yeah, so that's another thing with the interview. I mostly did most of the stuff on my team last year, and
Fair.
like during the interview it was very hard because they just saw that other people weren't really talking much. So I feel that I'm just gonna go mostly talking about programming and the design and like programming stuff like that, and just talk about that, and hopefully I get some sort of award for programming or design.
I have a question backing off Jake's statement. Fisher, what's your opinion on this year's change from more of a technical, actual playing the game in terms of winning to being more of a that's half. The other half is more centralized on outreach and all that. What's your thoughts on those changes this year?
Well, they pretty negatively affected being a solo team because a solo team is not going to win Inspired. I already know that's not going to happen, but most of the awards are worth the same except for Inspire. So I'm just gonna hope to get a first place award in something, and then just have a really good robot game to advance, and just go from there.
Fair enough.
Lorraine, do you have any questions for Fisher on how he's going to do anything interview-wise, especially because you haven't done anything like that before?
I don't have any for the interview, but I do want to ask him how are you going to are you gonna at all attempt to try fit 2 robots in the square at the end?
Yes. Hold on. Let me actually have a video just for this. I'll show you. Okay. So this is from a YouTuber named Brogan Pratt. I've been watching him for a little while, and he makes FTC content, and I feel like this little prototype would work pretty good. It's just using a box tube to lift up the robot, and then the bottom plate you can have another robot drive on. And I feel like that might work well. And if we do it at the level 3 park, we're gonna do something probably like that.
Okay.
Very cool. With that compatibility being needed, especially in the end game where you have to stack robots, how do you feel about worrying about the compatibility, especially with something like that where you go up and you have to have another robot drive well enough, especially in a league where, say, it's a team that has less experience? How would you handle, someone not controlling it to the best of their ability and knocking something over? Because we've been struggling with dealing with that idea, and we honestly don't know the direction we're going to go with that in game.
Yeah. So usually we get the schedule pretty early, so we can try to plan in advance, test it. We can go to the practice field and see how we do. And if we deem that it's going to take too long, because in game's only 20 seconds this season.
Yeah.
We're probably just not going to do level 3 park, and then just go for level 2, because you can do partial and partial, or full and partial, and you'll still get the points.
You mentioned at the beginning of not thinking that it was worth it to get that 3rd level. It kind of brought me back to last year with that 3rd level hang, with how complicated your robot needed to beat in order to achieve that. Is that the same kind of feeling that you have this year?
Yeah. It's also like the level 3 hang from last year was 15-point difference from the level 2 hang. And this season, I think it's like 5-point difference from level 2 to level 3 or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like that most teams won't go for that, because you can be shooting more artifacts or doing motifs in that time.
So Fisher,
yeah,
kind of also backing off that question, as you've seen people, videos, Discord, resources out there on this year's game, and your own testing, has there been any rules that you feel aren't specified or really explained, and that you would like more elaboration on in the future, in the coming weeks?
I just wonder how they're gonna like judge defense this season. Like, how are they gonna? What are they gonna classify as defense and then like point blocking or penalties and stuff like that? Because into the deep, like the world level play, there was some questionable scoring there and penalties. And I just wonder how they're gonna score and penalize defense or anything like that.
That's an interesting question, especially because the past 3 games, even the defensive play has been restricted a lot, about where you can go, where you can't go. And this year with balls and them not staying in a place at all because they're spherical, it's going to be interesting to see how they go about those defensive rules.
Yeah. Also, another thing, backing off of what you were saying, last season into the deep, the fields were like mirrored, and there was like almost no reason for you to cross the field. So you only really saw defense whenever like a robot broke or at the world level or anything like that. And this season's more open. And I feel like there's gonna be a lot more defense and stuff like that.
I see you have your custom chassis. Is that what that is on the
Yes.
screen?
So
That's awesome. You want to explain that a little more for everybody looking at that? Right now?
Okay. So we recently got a CNC machine, and then we're gonna cut all this out of 6061 aluminum, and we use this thing called pocketing to make sure it's really light, because aluminum by itself is really heavy. And then there's almost no go build a structure parts except for like the knees and the wheels and stuff like that.
Mhm.
So it allows for more customize, like you can customize it more. Then I can go in here and I can look at the CAD designs. Like, let's see, it's gonna interplay. So that's what the CAD looks like. And then we use belts from the wheel, the motor to the wheel, and it makes it really compact. Because our robot right now I think this is 16 by 16, so we can do a full park and then have also another partner doing partial park. And then we use we're gonna use Pedro pathing this year. I don't really like using Roadrunner. Roadrunner has some bugs that I don't really like, so we're gonna use 2-wheel odometry with pinpoint, which is the best way to localize.
With your robot being 16 by 16, you kind of have room to, of course, go up and then even go out a little bit.
Yeah.
What is your plan for that this season? Because I've seen lots of teams so far build their robot as high as it can go, and some teams just want to go a linear path and make it as long as it can go and just have that very last part of their outtake go up. How are y'all going to do? Are y'all planning on going up or out?
So our intake is probably going to be swinging out a little bit. So I think this video does not show it well, but this is another thing with those wheels. See how that's kind of like outside the little box? We're going to do something like that. And then the turret will just be above like the control hubs, like right here somewhere.
If you don't mind, could you explain that turret? It looked quite interesting.
This isn't really complete. This is just the hood of the shooter. These are the wheels, and then this will be driven by our only servo. And this hood allows us, when that gear rotates, this can rotate and change the angle of the shooting. Because when you change the motor speed, sometimes that decreases the liability. And so I feel like the shooter with an adjustable hood will be better. And then this will be on a pivot on a turret, so it can just track the shooting zone.
Awesome.
I can see that a lot of time has gone into your whole design of your robot, your mechanisms. Is this the final product, or how many iterations of this have you gone through?
Here we can look. So I haven't really iterated much on the shooter, but drivetrain itself, let's see. I have it somewhere around here. What's this? No. That's not it. I find it. I think it's in this. Yeah. So this is over the summer. I just developed a. If I had to do it Into the Deep again, this is what it kind of looked like with the box tube. And I just designed stuff over the summer, and then I have different robot types I designed. Like I just kept on iterating the drivetrain, getting it better and better each time. It'll load. Like see my first robot's a lot different than the one that I've settled on now. It'll load. Yeah. So this is what my first drivetrain iteration looked like. And there was a lot of problems with it. So I just kept on iterating and eventually ended up on what we have now.
Cool. Very cool.
Awesome. You guys, well, I should say you've always kind of been known in the league to have a very interestingly designed robot. And we can all tell that nothing's going to change this year. Your robot design, you can tell, like Isaac said, so much work's gone into it. And man, we do wish you all the best this season.
Thank you. I wish you all the best this season too.
All right. I guess that's it. And or do y'all have any closing questions you want to ask Fisher?
No.
No.
Pretty much answered everything. Wanted to ask you.
Mhm.
Right. Well, Fisher, you were awesome. Like I said, good luck to y'all this season. And thank you for hopefully starting something that will keep going throughout the season and we interview more teams. Thank you for being our team of the week for week 1. Yeah, just thank you. It was awesome.
Yeah, thank you for interviewing me. This is pretty cool.
Of course. Have a good one, Fisher.
You too.